I was driving in the back of a van on the outskirts of Phnom Penh in Cambodia, and I was being taken into a village called Swaipak, which has been considered the capital of child sex tourism. Seeing the shacks and brothels on either side, our van comes to a stop, and here we look over to our right, and I've got my film crew in the back with me, and here's a heavy-set Western man bartering for sex with a child in front of one of these brothels. And it was in that moment that the statistics of child sex trafficking suddenly became personalized. But I couldn't help but approach this guy. Well, he saw us coming, and he goes up the street. My film crew says, "What do we do?" And I say, "Just turn on the camera." I don't know. And so here we are, this big film crew following this pedophile down the street, and suddenly he breaks into a sprint. So we find ourselves in a full chase through this village out to the main highway, and he's jumping on the back of a moped taxi, and I grab him by the back of his shirt, and I yank him back, and I find myself face to face with a man who had flown halfway across the world to come buy a child for sex. And I just shook him, and I said, "Don't ever come back to this place again." I don't know if he was more shaken or I was more shaken by this encounter, but days later it compelled me with this question and this thought that this man didn't wake up one day and decide to go fly halfway across the world to go buy a child for sex. What happened in this man's life that brought him to this point? And that's when I began to ask this question: what kind of society is producing so many men willing to buy a woman or child for sex?